Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. It's June 6th, 2024. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Look, yesterday, for me personally, wasn't my best work. Um, when we look at the Tigers and Rangers, it was just what could have gone wrong went wrong. Kenta Maeda leaves two pitches into the game, and obviously that means they're gonna have to. The Tigers had to, get a relief pitcher that they didn't want to have to use, and obviously Joey Wentz, he did. What I was hoping the Rangers would do. They got some runs, but wasn't enough. They only got four, so that first five over 4.5 did not go over. I was surprised to see Jose Urena, have a pretty decent day, for his standards, going 6.2 innings, 6 Ks. I knew I was hoping that run was going to come earlier, and then literally, you couldn't even make it up. The very next inning, this guy who was a rookie gets it's just like, oh my, you couldn't do that last inning. Like, you just 4:13 to left. His first hit, everyone's going crazy. I see it's in the sixth, and I'm like, oh my gosh, of course it's in the sixth. So, that was just a tough one there. But the Giants, that was a pretty sweat-free winner for me. I was very glad to see that. Montgomery got rocked early on. He only went 2 innings. He was getting booed early. That Wilmer Flores grand slam obviously was pretty much the big difference maker in that game. Giants controlled it pretty much throughout the rest of the game, even with a little bit of a comeback from the Diamondbacks early on. Only making it a 3-run game at best. It was all Giants all day. Soler had a 427 foot homer in the eighth inning, and I think it was just a little bit out of reach at that point. So we were so close to the 2-0 day, but I'll take a 1-1 day, obviously, with the Giants kind of being the sweat-free winner, and they were a little bit of a slight dog. We got them at -102, so that's definitely a great winner for me as well. A slight underdog, and then the Tigers Rangers, we were so close for that first 5 over 4.5, but if that rookie just would have done it the inning before, or, like I said, if Maeda would have stayed, or even if Seager would have stayed, obviously, he did get injured as well. So, there were a couple injuries from both sides, and, just a tough miss, but I'm not beating myself too much over it. 1-1 day for me. Ari, how'd you do yesterday?
Yeah, not good. 1-1. Rose game got postponed. Braves, their lineup was back to what it was before Tuesday. I think they had one hit the whole game. Pivetta looked like Cy Young Pivetta. So yeah, just a bad play, and the Royals team got postponed. So 1-1.
I mean, yeah, you can't really beat yourself too much, obviously, with the postponement, and obviously the Royals game did get postponed. Right now, they're up 1-0 early on the Guards right now in that game that was supposed to be scheduled yesterday, but obviously can't really do much about it. But the Braves, I mean, Nick Pivetta was looking like Cy Young Tim Wakefield. He was looking like the man out there, prime Chris Sale, if I do say so myself. So the Braves got cooked. You can't really do much when he was throwing a one hitter. So that was just a bad look there. 0-1-1, 0-1 day for you, and then obviously 1-1 day for me, a 1-2-1 day for the both of us. We're getting better, obviously. But now, obviously, today, Thursday, we got some best bets cooked up for you. Obviously, I got 2 plays for you. Both of them, obviously, first 5. We're going to go to the Mariners A's here. We're taking that first 5 under 4.5 here. We're getting that at -135. And I think we're getting it at a really good price because of the pitching matchup. I mean, we look at the Mariners, and it's Brian Wu on the mound, and you can say this is a little bit more of a personal start. Obviously, him, growing up in Oakland, so this is obviously a lot more of a personal game for him. And, he usually cooks the Oakland A's. He only allowing about a 195 batting average, on the year. The only real concern for Brian Wu is his, durability in terms of how many innings he'll go. That's why I'm only taking the first 5, with his pitch count kind of being a bigger question for this pitching staff for the Mariners. He usually is about 5 to 6 innings. So that's all we're asking for. Just the first 5 innings here, just kind of do his job and, take care of business against an A's team that, got a win last night, in a very low scoring game once again. So I'm just kind of backing that, the fact that this game is obviously going to be low scoring again because of the pitching matchup. And we look at the A's side, and it's JP Sears, and he obviously has good numbers against this Mariners team as well, only allowing a 193 batting average. And, we always talk about how the Mariners bats, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Yesterday didn't really do much against the A's, and, against the lefties, that's kind of where that's kind of where the Mariners have mostly struggled for the most part in terms of hitting against lefties. So in this matchup, I just am kind of backing the fact that, backing both pitchers through 5 innings to kind of get their jobs done, not really allow too many runs here. So I'm taking that first 5 under 4.5. We're getting it at -135. I was looking at the Nerfy, but it was getting to juiced around -140 and up. And I was like, I don't like anything more than 135 for a Nerfy. So I just am taking these two teams to catch, really get out to a slow start here, taking the first 5 under 4.5. We're getting it at -135. Just backing both pitchers today. I saw the lineup for the Mariners, and well, it's not ugly, but it's not pretty either. and then obviously for the A's, obvious as well. Their lineup has kind of been hit or miss as well. But Brian Wu obviously has great numbers against this A's lineup. So just backing both pitchers to do their job here. First 5 under 4.5. We're getting at -135, and then we're gonna go to Cincinnati here, and we're taking the Cubs first 5 plus half a run here. We're getting that at -130 here. I am all over the Cubs today. I love the Cubs. A full game money line as well. You can maybe sprinkle that. I know that's like around, I think, +105 to maybe almost even money. That's definitely worth a sprinkle as well. So if you don't like this first 5 plus half a run, I do like the full game for the Cubs as well at +105. But we're just backing the Cubs here to not be losing by more than 1 run after 5 innings. We're mostly backing a system here. Look, the Reds, they came off of that big series in Coors where their bats were all over the place. They couldn't be missed. We saw that game yesterday. If you watched the game yesterday, oh my goodness. Any Rocky bettors, oh, I'm so sorry. any Rocky bettors, I'm so sorry yesterday, because they seem to toss out their worst pitchers, and in a game where you need to win. And it was just home run derby after home run derby. India with the grand slam. Friedel, I think it was Friedel with that game leading in the top of the 9th with 2 outs. Their bats were there, but coming off of that series, it's definitely hard to just kind of pick right back up where you left off, even in a great hitter friendly ballpark like Great American Ballpark. The Reds coming back home awfully. Excuse me, coming back home, no rest, coming from Coors, that's obviously high elevation. I expect their bats to kind of maybe, be a little bit slow to start out against Javier Assad, who has, been one of the more consistent pitchers for this Cubs staff. I think him, alongside the fact that, the Reds are probably going to be coming back, definitely a little tired. I always look at, travel day bets here, and this is definitely one of my travel day bets. Obviously, the Reds coming back, from the Coors experience, I like to call it. And even though their bats were alive, I think they do come out slow here. So we're just backing the Cubs to keep this game close through first 5, just backing the first 5 plus half a run. If you do want to sprinkle the full game money line at +105, I wouldn't blame you. I'm also on that as well. But for this play, I'm just giving out the Cubs first 5 plus half a run. We're taking them through 5. And once again, not having to worry about the bullpens, hopefully. System here, I love it. It's the better system, the better team, in my opinion, today, in terms of, travel and all that stuff. We're just taking the Cubs to not be down by more than 1 run through 5 innings. We're getting that at -130 here. Those are my 2 plays. The Mariners and A's first 5 under 4.5. Pitching duel in Oakland today. We're going to take that -135, and then the Cubs to not be down by more than 1 run after 5 innings at -130.
Well, it would just be not too late. If they're down by 1 run, it wouldn't win, right? So they just can't be losing. Yeah. They have to be tied, or
yeah. Don't be losing. Pretty much, yeah. Don't be losing here. We're getting that at -130. If you do, like I said, want to sprinkle the full game money line, I wouldn't blame you there. I think that's around +105 right now. I am on the full game money line as well, but for this bet, we're just hoping that they don't lose after 5 innings at -130. That's my 2 bets for you today. Ari, I know we finally have the first game of the NBA Finals. Are you on anything for that?
No, just 2 MLB plays. I'm just watching game 1 for tonight, but I'm actually on the Reds money line today. It's mostly a line play just because of I think it's respect for Hunter Green after he got crushed by the Cubs when they were playing in Chicago. I think it was just like a series or 2 ago. And obviously I've heard the trends of teams coming out of the Coors and being slow, and obviously this is a play where your play on here get hit, and then the full game get hit for the Reds as well. But, like you said, the Great American Ballpark is arguably the second best hitters ballpark, after Coors. So that's why I think even if they are a little bit slow coming out of Coors, I'm not as worried about it, going to arguably the second best hitters ballpark. I just think Hunter Green bounces back, at home, even though his numbers are better on the road this season because of Great American Ballpark and how hitter friendly it is. I thought the line would be maybe even flipped, even though the Reds have been playing better as of late. I thought the line would be a little bit different than what it was. So, I'm not someone who only plays lines like other people are, but this is one of the few instances where I'm kind of playing that kind of narrative. And then also just the Reds bats heating up. Obviously it was Coors Field and the Rockies pitching and blah, blah, blah. But I think, any kind of momentum that your lineup can get can be helpful moving forward. And then the Cubs also had 2 kind of legacy comeback wins against the White Sox the past couple of games as well. So yeah, that's my narrative. That's my Reds play there. And then going to the Braves Nationals first 5 under. Mitchell Parker against Reynaldo Lopez. I think it's 2 starts ago. Mitchell Parker threw 6 shutout against the Braves before he gave up 3 runs in the 7th and then got pulled. Like we were talking with the Braves, their lineup is pretty dead right now, as with the exception of like 1 game. And then Lopez has an ERA of like 1.7 on the season. Nationals lineup can be chippy at times, can put runners on base, but I'm just kind of backing both pitchers here to do their jobs, in the first 5. I was looking at full game under 8.5, but I'm kind of more so banking on the starters with this play in particular. So first 5 under 4.5 for that. And then for Braves Nationals, and then Reds money line, hoping that the Reds can carry their bats, back at home. Obviously there's the Coors effect and all that. So we'll see if they start off slow and maybe both our bets hit. I know you said you're on Cubs full money line as well. So at least one of us will go out of that game a winner. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, obviously, one of us is going to be a winner. Just got to find out who that winner is going to be. I do see your point with the Reds, obviously. They definitely are a great look today in terms of, just backing a team that, has a better momentum, in terms of this and, momentum as well. And you look at the line, seeing the Reds at a pretty decent price. That was pretty much the price they were getting at throughout that whole series in Coors as well. So, kind of continuing on that trend. I see your point there. That's why I'm mostly on the Cubs first 5, pretty much just to not be losing by more than or just not to be losing at all. I just, I'm just backing 5 innings. I know the bullpens for the Cubs, especially for the Cubs bullpen, is pretty shaky. So that's why I'm mostly just backing, the Cubs first 5, sprinkling very lightly the full game money line, just because I know the Cubs bullpen, is absolutely anemic at times. But I do like your Braves Nationals look there, first 5 under 4.5. You're backing, the fact that the Braves bats have been, very inconsistent as of late. They had that 1 game where they put up runs and all this in the Braves series, in the Red Sox series, and then the other day they got shut out, only got 1 hit on the day. So, I kind of just backing Mitchell Parker at home. I do love your play there. And then same thing with Reynaldo Lopez. He has, decent splits against this Nationals team. And, even though the Braves, last time they played the Nats, they lost the series. But I think just backing the pitchers here through 5, just not really believing in either lineup as well. The Nationals lineup, once again, one of the more inconsistent ones as well. They look good at sometimes against certain matchups, and then other times they look good, but they don't produce. So, I do know that they're pretty active on the base paths, so we'll see how that plays out as well for, a guy like, Sean Murphy behind the plate who, is pretty, or is it Darno who's behind the plate? Who's behind the plate usually? I think it's Darno.
They're kind of they're platooning, so the lamp
How about I know they're platooning, so it's going to be interesting to see. But I know the Nats are a pretty one of the more active teams on the base path in terms of steals. So we'll see how that plays out, especially for a first 5 under. You don't want to see any guy get out first for the Nationals because they're definitely going to try to steal. So I do like your play there, first 5 under 4.5. And then obviously going head to head with our plays, with the Reds and Cubs kind of combating each other. Going back to my play as well, I already talked about it briefly. The Cubs' first 5 plus half a run here, just asking them not to lose for 5 innings. That's all we're asking for. And then another first 5 under, but this one starting in about a couple hours in Oakland between the Mariners and A's, first 5 under 4.5. Those are my 2 plays. Obviously, ours 2 plays. You can find all of these plays and our full video below on our Twitter, AKP Sports Talk. But that is going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's RM Korea. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow with some more best bets, win some money, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.